Hello, everyone. We're back for another great episode of the Cup of Joe show. I'm Joe. That's Jeremy. You know what we do. So we're going to get into it. We saw a movie last weekend. It was 22 Jump Street. You may have heard of it. You may have heard of its predecessor as well, 21 Jump Street. And let me tell you, I won't overrate this too much, I hope, but it was definitely the best comedy of this year so far. Um, it topped Neighbors. It topped Neighbors actually pretty easily. I don't even remember if Neighbors was funny, to be honest with you, but I think it was. But this was just much better. Um, I'm usually very hard on comedies too, and the comedies need to provide for me that one moment where you just lose it. You lose everything in it, and you just laugh so hard that you can't breathe. There has to be one moment in a comedy for me to really like it that makes you do that. And in 22 Drum Street, it it totally happened. And there's just one scene, and I'd like to get into it, but I'll let you speak first, and that way we could have our proper spoiler. So, Jeremy's gonna talk, and then I'm gonna spoil. Unless Jeremy spoils first, who knows? But I thought it was very good. The chemistry between Channing Tatum and Jonah Hill is only greater. Ice Cube's great. Everything's really just great about it, and everything you'd want in a sequel.
Yeah, largely I agree. It was, it was definitely funny. I don't think it quite lived up to the first one. I guess the first one was fresher in some ways with some of the jokes and everything, but, the second one, much like the first one, was very self-aware. 22 Jump Street, made a lot of, like meta jokes about, like, the very nature of sequels and those kinds of things, so it's very self-aware, so that's funny, but it also brings, just more, like, general laughs in case, like, the meta stuff goes over people's heads. Like, there's this one joke where this dude has, a red herring tattoo, and a red herring is something that, like, makes you think is, like, something important, but it's really not, so I thought that joke was funny, but, like, no one in the theater laughed. But I guess I'm just, smarter than everyone else.
Clearly.
But, so there are things like that, but there are, also just, like, totally laugh out loud moments, and, yeah, so, I enjoyed it. Again, not quite as good as the first one, but, Channing Tatum and Jonah Hill are really good. It's got, a really strong cast, and, yeah.
The thing is that I think it was so funny that I need to see it again for some parts that I just literally laughed through. And I know that I missed stuff. I know that I missed more funny things. So I can't wait to actually see this again. The well, the one scene, and it's just a great scene. You end up finding out, spoiler. Yeah, definitely. If you didn't see it, don't watch this part right now. The, the scene where Ice Cube finds out that Jonah Hill has been having sex with his daughter is the best part of really the movie. Actually, it's just the entire joke. As soon as you find that out, and then Ice Cube's reaction, and then just Ice Cube just freaking out on the waiter guy or the caterer for just no reason really. I think it's just hilarious right in the beginning when the guy asks for some green beans and he gives him like two. Like, are you serious? Give me some more. And he grabs the green beans, throws them in the plate, and like after that moment, I really don't remember what happens, but he just keeps freaking out. I know at the end he kicks a plant over after talking to it, and it's just hilarious. And even before that, to set that up, his facial expression toward Jonah Hill as he's sitting at the dinner table, and then he's like, what can I do to get some water out here? And I love Jonah Hill's just subtle humor where he's just like, get this man some water. He's black. He's had a rough life. And it's just like, everything about that scene is absolutely hilarious. And then later on, when Channing Tatum finds out
Yeah.
that he has had sex with Ice Cube's daughter, just the fact that there's a timer going off, and it's like it's represents Channing Tatum's brain, where he finally figures it out, and his just like reaction to it is hilarious. I think like the evolution of that joke is absolutely fantastic, and it never runs out of steam. And even the Ice Cube texting. Texting Jonah Hill after,
Oh, yeah,
hey
yeah.
Doug. Oh my God, it's just so. I mean, that joke just made that movie for me because hilarious, and I can't wait to see it again. Also, with the subtle stuff that you were talking about, like I know I missed stuff. I, in fact, like I missed like the simplest joke that was spoon fed to me. I know in the beginning of the film where they go to Jump Street and Jonah Hill goes, "Oh my God, that's a sweet office. It's like a cube of ice," and like everyone started laughing, and like I was like, "Why is everyone laughing?" And then like 5 seconds later, I got it, and like I was the only one in the theater laughing because I had got the joke like 5 seconds later, and it was really embarrassing because it's Ice Cube, and he's in a cube of ice. I mean, but yeah, overall, very good. Nitpicky stuff would be, I think that they overdid the fact that like you're watching a sequel. The watching a sequel joke was a little too much. It was funny in the beginning, but then they kept going on with it and on with it. And I think that the after credits was a little long, was a little drawn out. It was so drawn out that I think we wanted to leave the theater that we actually did miss the after credits scene. There was an after credits scene. No, there really was.
Oh, there was?
Yeah,
Okay.
that's not a possibility. Like, there was. So, I mean, those are really the two things that I pick out that was, I would put it as good as the first one. And I can't wait to see it again, and I would suggest to get out there and go see it. I mean, if you're of age, don't see it if you're like 7. It would probably be bad.
Yeah.
But
if you're like 15,
yeah,
you could probably
15,
handle it.
yes.
Yeah.
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 But yeah.
Yeah.
Do you have anything to...
I think we're good. I think we covered it.
I think we're good. Okay. Well, then this is your segment, buddy.
Indeed it is.
The box office with Jeremy Evans.
Yes, here we go.
Only time of the show where Joe gets to shut up.
Alright, so last weekend, most people thinking it was going to be pretty big. We had the opening of 22 Jump Street and How to Train Your Dragon 2, two pretty highly anticipated sequels. And we'll get to whether or not the weekend lived up to the hype. But anyway, in the 5th spot, we had The Fault in Our Stars, and that fell from 1st to 5th, and 69%. It grossed $14.8 million for a total of a little under $81 million. And that, again, it has a budget of like $12 million. Totally just came out of nowhere, and it should eke its way over $100 million, I would think. And despite god awful legs, it's still definitely going to be a huge success. Okay, in 4th place we had Edge of Tomorrow, and that fell a solid 43% to 16.5. It has a total of $57 million. So, that's a decent hold, especially in the face of pretty decent competition. Another thing is that we're in summer now, so weekday grosses tend to be a bit better, and then correspondingly weekend drops might be a little bit more, so that might have been more like a 39% drop during the school year or something like that. So that's pretty solid for Edge of Tomorrow, and which I'm happy for because I liked this movie, and I'd like to see it not quite flop so horribly. A movie I would like to see flop horribly, Maleficent, in number 3, in the 3rd spot. I couldn't talk. That was down 46% to $18.5 million. It has a total of 163. I still remain terrified that this is going to outgross Godzilla and Amazing Spider-Man 2. I really don't want that to happen. That's scary.
As scary as Angelina Jolie in that film.
I'll say, or anytime
Ever.
Yeah. Okay, and then the runner-up spot went to How to Train Your Dragon 2, which opened to $49.5 million, and that's disappointing. A lot of people, myself included, were expecting that to open much bigger. Yeah, I would say the average prediction was probably around like 60, 65. I saw plenty of people thought it was gonna open in the 70s, and by saw plenty of people, I mean read on a message board. But so yeah, that's not that far above the first one, which opened to I think 42, 43, somewhere around there. And it's weird because the first one is just beloved, and I finally got the chance to see it about a week ago, and yeah, it's pretty good. I liked it, so I'm a bit confused why this didn't, why this wasn't able to open higher. And I mean, unless it somehow has really, really good legs, it's probably not even gonna outgross the first movie. So it happens. And then our number one picture was 22 Jump Street, and that opened to a very strong $57 million. That's noticeably above Neighbors, and it's extremely high up there in terms of an R-rated comedy. I believe it's second only to The Hangover 2, which opened to $86 million, and that's insane. But yeah, that's really, really good for 22 Jump Street. It's fittingly $21 million higher than the first one debuted to. I'm pretty sure it was 36. That joke is going to be really dumb if it was like 35 or 37 or anything like that.
Well, if it's 35, then it'd be 22 more.
Oh, there we go. Yeah.
So that would still work.
Now we're thinking.
Yep.
But anyway, so it's something like that. Anyway, that's a huge increase, and it bodes pretty well. Again, word of mouth is pretty strong. People seem to like this one, at least close to as much as the first one. So that's a good thing. I don't really think there's much comedy competition coming. In like 2 or so weeks, there's a movie called Sex Tape coming out, and that's a comedy, so that will be some competition. But 22 Jump Street is, clear for at least its second weekend. So I think it should outgross the first. I would say $150 million is guaranteed.
That's huge opening. I think that's around where people were predicting.
Yeah, that's about right.
But I mean, that's still huge. And as far as The Hangover 2 goes, I mean, that movie was terrible. But
and then The Hangover 3 sank all the way down to like $41 million.
That tells you how bad the second one was, and how sick of the franchise people like. I don't want to say I'll never be able to explain, but just a franchise that was so actually beloved that I think people hate it now. I think people hate it now.
I don't like the first one as much as I used to.
Right.
It's literally gotten worse.
Right. Exactly. So it's just I haven't seen the third one yet though. I want to see it just as a completion.
Yeah. No, I
need to complete it.
I want to see it too. I just don't want to pay to.
Exactly. Yeah. I've heard it's terrible, but there has to be completion factor. But anyway, as far as the box office goes, yeah, How to Train Your Dragon 2, kind of disappointing there.
It is.
I'm surprised, but there's not really any kids movie competition coming, right?
No, it's
so maybe
they'll
have
clear sailing for the summer.
Yeah, I mean maybe they'll have good legs 4th of July.
Except for planes too.
Yeah. That's a joke. I mean, it's real.
Yeah, no, it's
real,
a thing, but it's a joke.
But it's that's a joke. But yeah, I think that was a pretty strong fall for Fault in Our Stars. Not that it really matters at this point, but that was. I mean, but that's how they go.
Yeah,
I mean that's how Twilight went.
Yeah, that's how Twilight movies. That's how even the later Harry Potter movies went. They just got more and more front loaded as that series went on.
Right. So. But other than that, there's your box office. I've kind of been dreading this part of the show because this is where we talk about the upcoming movies.
Yeah, they suck.
And they're terrible.
Yeah.
All right. So there's Jersey Boys, right? And what's the other one?
Think Like a Man 2.
Think Like a Man. Okay. I thought you said Lego Man 2 for a second. That's why okay. So
I wish that was a movie.
yeah, that's true. All right. So, where do you want to start?
Okay, Jersey Boys. It's based on play play, and which itself is based on the history of Frankie Valli and the Four Seasons. It's directed by Clint Eastwood, which is something. The reviews are not good. People don't seem to like it that much, and it holds absolutely no interest to me. You'll get some Clint fans. You'll get some Four Seasons fans, some fans of the play and everything, but I would be shocked to see this open to more than 15 million.
I love Clint Eastwood. I love him as an actor. I have loved him as a director, but I mean his last few movies have just really fallen off. I think he directed Gran Torino, right?
I believe so.
Yeah. Okay. Gran Torino was a great movie. But I mean, I think ever since then, what was the? Whoa, God, what was the one with Matt Damon?
Hereafter.
Hereafter. Yeah,
I didn't see that.
that was a terrible film. There's another guy. Matt Damon hasn't been in a good film in a really long time. Really
Probably
that I
not
can think
since
of.
Euro Trip.
Yes. That's not true. That's not true. But hilarious cameo in the film. He probably hasn't been in a good film since. I really like We Bought a Zoo, but even then, people could be like, I don't think he's been in a good film since probably like the Last Born movie. To be honest with you,
Which was 7 years ago.
Exactly. So I mean, he's got to get in a good project. But anyway, getting back to Clint Eastwood, Mystic River's a fantastic film, and I think that's really the peak of Clint Eastwood. I'm pretty sure Mystic River won like everything that year at the Oscars, and rightfully so. It's a fantastic film.
It is.
But I mean, like Clint Eastwood is just scary. He's fallen off. And now as an actor, I've liked his recent. I like Trouble with the Curve. But it's just, I don't know. This movie has no interest to me. I think it's just gonna be nothing, just like Hereafter was. To be honest with you. So that's that.
And as for Think Like a Man 2, Kevin Hart remains extremely popular. The first one did very well, opened above 30 million. And we had Ride Along earlier this year that broke 40. I don't think Like a Man 2 will quite get up to those heights, but it's not inconceivable that it could open to the 30-35 million range. I haven't seen the first one. I'm not that interested. I like Kevin Hart and all, and he's funny, but it's just it's not. It doesn't quite appeal to me. There's too much. I guess there's like a woman side to it, and it kind of appeals to female audiences too. So that makes it less interesting to me.
Yeah, there's a woman's side, and it's a black comedy.
True.
I mean, that's what it boils
Not
down
like
to.
a dark comedy, but like.
Yes.
But like a comedy directed toward black people.
Black people. And I find black comedians really funny, and I find movies that black people are the main characters very funny. I found Ride Along pretty funny, actually, even though it got terrible reviews. But this is specifically a comedy geared toward black people, which is it's just not for us. I mean, we saw Soul Men, it was.
Look at our skin.
Exactly. Yeah. That's what it boils down to. And to be honest with you, Kevin Hart is kind of getting old. He's just in our faces way too much. I honestly thought that Think Like a Man, the movie that just came out like on Valentine's Day that starred like this About Last Night was like the predecessor to this film. So like I don't know, and it had the same people in it. So I don't, So it's just too much. It's too much in your face. Kevin Hart, calm down, take a break, breathe. You're funny, but stop it. Anyway, that's all the time we've got. I'm Joe. That's Jeremy. Have a great week. Hope you get out to the movies.